Welcome to Deep Thought. Sometimes the answer is simple. Sometimes the answer is simple. And in fact, just to shout out a principle that, many more intellectual type of people are familiar with, Occam's razor, that the simplest explanation is the right one. But when they apply that principle, that specific principle, they're usually talking about more complicated things. Now, when I'm talking about sometimes the answer is simple, I'm just talking about everyday life. But I wanted to shout that out, acknowledge it, because you know what though, sometimes people, it's like, well, what theory is that? And sometimes you learn something and have no idea about that theory, because that's one thing I found in life, that sometimes it's not all that deep. It's not all that deep, right? And like, I give you a story, right? I remember when I was working on one of my 1,001 jobs, and it was this dude was interested in this woman. And even though he was supposed to be working, he spent all day writing a love letter. To express his feelings, right? And I'm like, dude, okay, you taking up time, you should be working, doing some productive stuff, when all you need to do is just go talk to the woman and say, hey, you know what? I got feelings for you. It's not that deep, like I know another young man, he's kind of in my circle, not my direct circle, but, I'm out and about in the real world. And he was asking about, well, I'm having trouble with women. I was like, do you talk to them? No. Start talking to them, saying hi and everything. It's not that deep, And that could be for any problem. Sometimes we overthink stuff. Seriously. And I've been guilty of it. Because I remember, I'll say, there was a time like 4 different women in a short span of time told me, Rom, you're thinking too much. And I think it had to do with, well, why y'all interested in all of that? And, it had to do along those lines. And they like, Rom, it ain't that deep. You thinking too much. Sometimes the answer is simple. Like in that case, they just like something about me. That was it. It ain't that deep. And that's something, like I said, that's something I had to learn personally because, I know I clown around and everything. And, of course, some detractors might not think so or really want to admit to it. But, I'm a very intellectual type of person, but I did learn over the years, sometimes it ain't that deep. People be thinking it's all complicated. It was like, no, just do this, And then, it's ironic. I had to learn that lesson for myself. And then I would talk to other people and they'd be talking about something. And I was like, dude, it ain't that deep. Just do this. Just do this or something. It wouldn't be like on relationships. Well, some relationships, just everyday life, what to do, business, everything like that. It's like, sometimes you can change your mood. Like some people be going through like a bad mood or something. And I know people can get deep psychology, but sometimes it's washing your hair or something. Or somebody's real tired or something. And it's like, man, I'm just worn out. Get some rest. Seriously. Because one of the things that happens, especially in the culture we have, and especially among people who are thinkers, this is like for all my thinkers out there, sometimes you do think stuff is like at a major thing. You got to do all of this to do something. And it was like, okay, you spend all that time. Meanwhile, somebody else come up and say something and everything. Right. It's, I can think of so many times. Like, okay, I remember a story, Master Yao, who I've mentioned several times, that told me about the Bagua. And that's a deeper conversation. But anybody familiar with the Bagua? you have different archetypes within the Bhagavad, and, how they would solve something, how they go about a problem. And he was talking about each part will like have their different part where they thinking about it, they trying to solve it. Earth Yang would say, well, we got to do this. Metal Yin would say, well, we got to do this. Earth Yin would say, we got to do this. And everybody's making it all complicated. But then when you get to Earth Yang, which is the final step, they'll say, oh, just screw it on. It's like, and I was just like, huh? Because have you met those people? They ain't complicated. They don't say a lot, but they'll just break something down. Like, here's a great example. You know how, like, especially like in relationships, people be like watching videos, which I shouldn't complain about, but watching videos, reading all these books and everything. Like, you got all these like therapists, psychologists, dating coaches, everybody saying all this or trying to read someone. Yet, how many of us have known like that elder who might not have that education or something? Like say a woman's trying to figure out a guy, right? Like a woman's trying to figure out a guy. All right, she'll watch a bunch of videos, okay? She'll read some books. She'll talk to some people and everything, some psychologists, some therapists, some coaches. She might even pay for something, trying to figure out this guy that she wants to deal with, right? But then, and like say they going out, she brings the guy around her, like, old school country grandmother or something who got like a 6th grade education or something. And, she can read, but not big on it. It's like, and don't say a lot. But then she'll take one look at that guy and say, baby, he a little crazy. Seriously, they'll say it just like that in like 3 seconds or something. Maybe he a little crazy. That ain't even 3 seconds, like 2 seconds. Right? But then the woman will start dealing with the guy and really start, it's like, wait a minute. Really look at him and say, damn, he is crazy. Look at what he's doing. Sometimes the answer is simple. And like I said, man, I ain't jumping on it because I'm a definite thinker. It's something I had to learn. Sometimes I got to sit back and say, it ain't that deep. Why not just do this? But anyway, it's something to think about, y'all. It's something to think about. And, then that's the main thing on this channel, to think. But then sometimes the answer could be complicated. Sometimes it's simple. So anyway, y'all think on that. And I get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.